So what kind of improvements does Le Mans Ultimate need for it to be a full version and to be perfect? In this video, I'm gonna talk about what I like to see, different changes that we currently have. Take note, this is vital. Don't click off the video. Let it run. Put your opinion in the comments, because if the video runs for a longer time, YouTube will promote it more and more and more, and the chances of the developers actually seeing this video and see the comments is really important for the future of Le Mans Ultimate. So get in there. I will make my concerns and my list, like a wish list, things I'd like to see changed, and let's get into it. First thing I really like to see is the indicator lights. So if we have hypercars chasing down the GT3 cars or LMP2, we want some tail lights so we don't get like more clarity, like the guys in front know what needs to happen. I think this is vital. I didn't see any evidence of their putting like indicator lights. Then the next thing I want to get into is this image right here. I have a really hard time looking at this area. It's super dark. I like to see some stronger headlights, at least for myself, so I can actually see where I'm going in the dark. This looks like my old Toyota Avensis with horrible lights, right? Now we're in a race car and we've got all these different lights on. Better lighting, please. And the next thing is the chat in the multiplayer. I think we don't really need to know who's taking the wheel. Yeah, we got all these great people in our community who are taking the wheel, but this is not necessary, or at least give us the option to turn it off. So if I say something to, let's say, I don't know, Eddie Peterson, and I'll say, well, nice racing. You know, we can actually read it instead of having a million messages of who's taking the wheel. So take that off, please. It's not necessary. We don't need it. Now, I like this game. But this screen, what we just saw, again, like this, and again, like this, and again, oh no, not this time, but I don't need to see all of these slides all the time. I mean, I get it. Maybe the game loads very slowly, it's gonna be black screen, but this open and closing of this, I don't really need it. Then I have another point. We are sim racers, and I think the most enjoyment in sim racing is being in a same car for a particular period, right? For instance, for me, like in our community, we have a Bahrain next week, and I'm driving pretty much always the Aston Martin for a good part. Now, I always need to add the car, I always need to change the track, I always need to use this. I would like to have a function to do a quick option for something that I'm constantly doing, like optimizing a setup for a track. I don't want to click every time the same track, the same car, and that is, I've seen other people talk about this as well, some presets that I can save here in the advanced options. Make like a practice preset, or make something that I can fix these settings. So and now we need to constantly change this and this and this to our liking. Same with weather stats. Maybe we can have our own stats and save our own presets. Now I come up with the next thing that friend of mine is really like, when you have different steering wheels, or I don't know, like different profiles for force feedback settings. So if I go to the settings, we already have a graphical preset that we can save. We can enter these presets. Why don't we also have that for controls, for different steering wheels? So we can load up a preset for an LMP2 wheel, or a hypercar wheel, or a GT3 car wheel. I mean, that would be a good thing, right? Another thing I want to get into is the heads-up display. So we can already do like some adjustments, but I would like to have more adjustments, or change the scale of them independently, or just remove certain parts of the speedo, because I think the speedo is good, but I only care about, I like those two slides of the virtual energy and the fuel, but I don't need the RPM or the speedometer. I don't really need that. So maybe we can have more adjustments for this as well. So something that I would really like, apart from this taking the wheel stuff over here, I really would want to contact drivers after the race. So I can send them a message, like thanks, or you want to join our team, or you want to do whatever. Because I think it's vital for connectivity in the community. Like, I think that's huge, important thing that we cannot do right now. Also, I don't like the fact that we have all these nicknames everywhere. It does remind me of gaming a lot. Why not just like stick to like people that have real name? Now, again, this might be impossible to do, but this is just a very, very much of a desire for me to at least find these players, who they are, add them to a Steam friend list or whatever, because that will... Okay, you get the point, right? Hey, and if you're liking this content this far, could you please hit that like button? That really helps me out. And leave a comment what you like to see in Le Mans Ultimate. They really watch these comments and be constructive. You know, it's not like, oh, this is not good, I don't like it. No, just also say what you want to see, what you want to have in the game, so they can actually use it and improve it or edit stuff. So let's keep going. So I'm kind of a car setup guy for the ones they don't know. So let's say I would load up this setup and I would start driving, right? And I would do a couple of laps and whatever, and I would just keep it like driving and driving and driving. Then when I go back to this screen and I'm going to custom and I'm like saying, okay, I want to change some values. Let's say this, okay? Then I will save the setup, but now I'm not loaded up with my same setup anymore. This was good, but the new tire model update and the big update that came last month, now all of a sudden this is gone. Why? This is so annoying. We need to, when things are a certain way, we need to, like this, this was really annoying for me. So I need to now go back to my low down for setup, and now I can change it. Also, when people go into a new session, you need to reload the setup. I don't think that needs to change. I mean, come on, man. I mean, we need to have predictable stuff in the game. And this is something that, like, let's say we're doing all this setup work, the race starts, you forget to load the setup after you've already driven it in quali, and now you want to go for the setup in the race, and then all of okay, you get the point. So I think that also needs to change. Hey, and I would like to see a safe and an aggressive preset. And from a audience standpoint, like if you want to pull in beginners into the sim, like it's very easy to forget how beginner they are. They should stay alive to start enjoying the game and switching to an aggressive preset somehow, or an aggressive setup, instead of giving the average person a very aggressive setup. I mean, this first impression you have as a sim, bringing beginners in, like everyone starts like a beginner. So if you would create something that, like, if a new person wants to get into sim racing, it starts driving Le Mans Ultimate, and he starts spinning all the time, then that's it. And they're gonna quit and they're gonna leave. I really believe that if you need to have some sort of an entry point for a beginner, that he can drive and he can start enjoying and appreciate this beautiful game, right? That I think that's really important. And I think that was really good in the previous update. Now, again, there's like presets were like, there were new setups, there were updates, but then again, it's so very unforgiving at times. So I created these save presets for my own community, and what happened was hundreds and hundreds of downloads in like a few days. And I never had so much engagement. And that's just telling that people are really desperate for these safe setups that they then cannot use in the fixed series. So maybe there's room for improvement there as well. I've driven this lap with this car with the stiffest suspension possible. Now, real race car theory says if we have a very stiff suspension setup with springs and dampers, we get an increased tire heat because the suspension is not soaking up all the shocks on track. The tire actually needs to form around the shocks and bumps and potholes, so that would increase our tire wear. and that would also increase the temperature a lot. Tires, so we got that out of the way. Still, the setup is the same. Like I said previous, yeah, sometimes I get insecure, like, ooh, did my setup changes move along with the next time I go out on track? Now, I was driving a lot under the limit, so let's take this last corner gently under the limit, not really pushing it that far, but with a really soft suspension. And I would like to see a lot colder tires now. At least that's what everything says, yeah, like what car setup theory says. You got, I believe they're pretty much the same. So in the other setup, we had like massive stiffness, so the tire model is just unreactive to heat and suspension setup. Now, I mean, the setup changes are really good, don't get me wrong. It's very intuitive. With the new tire model, it got more sensitive for GT3 cars, but it doesn't really feel that I can influence heat in the tires. It is just a certain way, and that's it. So I went even further to investigate. So I did some tests with tire heat and toe values and brake blankings. So in the first run, I just added, like I'm braking here, the brakes up to 600 degrees. Then I'll go out on track over here. What was it? Here, I'm stopping the car, get those brakes up to 100 degrees temperature or 1000 degrees temperatures to get that heat in there. And then just fly over that straight. And at the end, we'll see what the tire temperatures were. I also don't run any toe. So you can bring the toe to 1 degree on the front and on the back. This didn't result in any top speed difference, and this didn't result in any differences as us for tire heat. Obviously, you could say like that is not really influential, but if you're driving this amount of speed on the straight, you got like the tire that wants to move outward, and you have the wheels trying to push the car into a certain balance. That will create some heat. Maybe not a lot, but it should be noticeable in this MFD, right? So at the end, it turned out to be like 64. Then I made the changes with closed brake ducts, with massive toe values, and I hope in simulation, I want this in simulation, that now I'm gonna be slower, right? I want to be rewarded for running low toe values. That is important for simulation. So yeah, again, I was stopping here, bringing those brakes up to a certain degree of temperature. Then I came here, again on this straight, and this is with massive toe values, and the left front tire is identical. Now, I'm probably, this will be impossible to change, but this is things I've looked for in the simulator. And there's another thing, like, where you got it? Like this, can you see the, how do you, yeah, the mirror. Do you see the mirror? Why don't these mirrors are just intuitively, like in VR as well? These side mirrors, if I look to left and right, they don't make any sense to me. Can we just not change the angle or something? That would be really useful too. So other cars have this pretty well, but I just feel in the McLaren, we're still like this in the car, in VR. Like you cannot really see it like this, but it's really like, and it's, in VR, if you got your avatar in VR perfectly matched to the real thing, that is just creating another layer of immersiveness. By the way, that's the only thing I have to comment on VR. The rest, please don't change everything else. It works great. It works really great. Keep it that way, please. Don't change anything about the other stuff in VR. I like pretty much everything I like in VR. Then there were also some comments in the community about different pitch, left and right changes you cannot do. Okay, so I'm gonna be super positive about the cars. I like these cars. I would like, what I especially like about the LMP2, that when it revs up, it gets really angry and noisy, and like the engine is basically screaming, please, I want to go to the next gear. And that is an engine sound I miss a little bit in the GT3 cars. I would like to, like, I don't know if that's realistic or not, but that's what I really like about the engine sound of the LMP2. Furthermore, all these cars I like. We don't need to add a lot of extra cars. I don't think we need to add a lot of more GT3 cars, but I do want to see a lot more tracks. So give us even more tracks. There are 3 more coming that I saw in this trailer, but more. Like there's no such thing as no, this game is not good because it has too many tracks. That's not the case. Obviously, I'm also really curious what you think. I'm also saying this from a point that I really like this, and some changes might be impossible. Some changes might be very quickly fixed. So forgive my ignorance for that, and yeah. So, and check the links down below. I put there some safe presets, some premium presets. If you'd like to support me on Patreon, thanks for watching. Hey, and if you really want to set up your own GT3 car or want to get knowledge about GT3 cars in Le Mans Ultimate, subscribe to the channel and watch this video next to see how I build car setups. Thanks for watching.